Welcome to my channel, where we explore interesting gadgets and tools. Today, we are excited to present to you a detailed look at the master lock, a reliable and secure locking mechanism. We will also show you the key that operates this lock, ensuring you understand its functionality. It's a padlock. As you can see, it opens both ways. This means that the cylinder, which is the part that turns, can be rotated in either direction, left or right. And it doesn't really matter which way you choose. If you take a look at this lock, you'll notice that it is designed to be versatile and user-friendly. The lock itself is made of plastic. Here, it's a kind of paralyzed plastic, providing moisture protection, probably to prevent rust. Here, if we pay attention, we close the lock. That is, the key has now been pulled out, but it is in the closed position. So, as we can see, even though the lock is in the closed position, it already has one flaw. The part that secures the shackle is in a movable state, meaning that even when it's locked, it isn't fully secured. Because of this, we can open this lock using a piece of metal, like a thin piece of metal from a battery wrapper or a soda can. But a soda can probably won't work because the spring in this lock is pretty stiff. So it's likely that a soda can won't fit. To do this, we need to remove this covering, so to speak. Yeah, this rubberized plastic, I don't really know what it is, but we need to take this thing off. Naturally, we won't be opening it like this right now, but for those interested in how to open similar locks using other methods like with a shim and metal, I showed that in my previous video, and I'll put that video in the description. That's it. So of course we won't be opening it like this right now. For those interested in how to open similar locks using other methods like with a shim and metal, I showed that in my previous video, and I'll put that video in the description. Alright, now let's try to open this lock. Here. Let's take a closer look at how to open this lock. I'll guide you through the process of unlocking these types of locks. Imagine if you ever misplace your key or leave it behind. Wouldn't it be helpful to know how to open them on your own? With some practice and the right technique, you can learn to handle these locks confidently, even without the key. Of course you can. You can actually accomplish this task without the need to call a professional locksmith, especially for these types of locks. This means that you have the ability to open it quite easily on your own. Therefore, let's proceed. By placing this particular lock securely in the vise at this very moment, ensuring it is held firmly in place before we begin. Let's put it in the vise. So I sincerely and truly hope this will be visible. Hopefully it will be. To open this lock, we need a tension wrench, which is a tool used to apply torque to the lock. Let's take this kind of tension wrench, specifically designed for this purpose. So we carefully insert the tension wrench into the lock, ensuring it fits snugly, and apply a little pressure, which is crucial for manipulating the lock's internal pins. By the way, let's test these locks to see how likely it is to pick them and evaluate their security features. So first, we're going to carefully take this pick tool in our hand and then proceed to thoroughly check it by using this specific rake tool. This process is crucial to ensure everything is in perfect working order before we move on to the next step. Can this lock be picked? By the way, there's a specific technique for picking locks, where you carefully insert the pick into the lock mechanism and gently lift all the pins up and down. This method requires precision and patience, as you need to feel the subtle movements of the pins. It's often used by locksmiths when they need to open a lock without a key, ensuring that the lock remains undamaged and functional. So, all locks can definitely be picked, but some can be. So we see in our attempts, unfortunately, we found that it was not possible to successfully pick the lock using this particular rake. All right. Let's take a rake similar to this one, but with sharper teeth. Let's apply a little tension. Remember, when we're picking with a rake, we need to apply very light tension. Now let's tilt it a bit. And now we flip this rake so the teeth are facing the opposite direction, which means we'll be manipulating with the flat side. For this, we insert the pick in a completely different way than you're used to seeing or trying, let's say. Let's tilt it a bit. So now we flip this rake so the teeth are facing the opposite direction, which means we'll be manipulating with the flat side. For this, we insert the pick in a completely different way than you're used to seeing or trying, let's say. So we take the pick, insert it, press it down. Well, we insert it tightly, as deep as we can into the keyway of the lock. And now with these kinds of manipulations, we just lift and lower the tip of the pick. Let's apply a little tension. So, let's take a look. If that's the case, it might be possible to pick the lock. We'll move on to another method where these locks can be picked quickly and with 100% success. If not, then we know. Therefore, we're definitely taking the hook. So, we absolutely need this particular hook with a more sharply curved tip. Why? Because, yes. So, let's take this kind of hook, meaning its tip is actually more curved and slightly more pronounced, and let's see what we can do now. All right. Slowly and steadily and carefully. Oh no, I just realized that I mistakenly installed the lock upside down. This means that the keyhole is not in the correct position, and when you try to insert the key, it will be facing the wrong way. I need to correct this error quickly to make sure the lock functions properly. What's that exactly, perhaps? Just about 1 second. We've removed the cover. The lock is paralyzed, and as we can see, the lock is already there. I don't know if we should remove it completely or not. Probably not. Let's install the lock. Next, we insert the tool, which is a tension wrench, and to manipulate it, we take the pick. The lock seems to be in a state of paralysis, and as we observe, the lock is indeed present. I am uncertain whether we should entirely remove it or not, and it is likely that we should not. Therefore, let's proceed to reinstall the lock. Following this, we insert the tool, which is known as a tension wrench, and in order to manipulate it effectively, we utilize the pick. It's interesting, but I hardly feel any loaded pins. So I'm applying tension pretty well because the springs are really strong. But I don't feel any pressure on the pins, like any pin being held down. That is, I do the tension quite normally because the springs are very powerful. But I don't feel any pressure on the pins, like any pin being held down. Just like that. So I don't feel any pins being held down at all. I just felt it. One more. So we've raked all the pins. In the end, they all found themselves in a situation where they were almost completely submerged in water, struggling to stay afloat and gasping for air. I no longer feel the strain and tension in the pin at all, but we still haven't opened the lock. Let's reset them. Okay, there is just one. Here it is. All right, I definitely got it. Got it. I understand completely. Yes, I understand. I can sense a very subtle and slight rotation or movement of the cylinder, almost as if it is gently turning or shifting in a barely noticeable manner. Got it, I understand completely, and we see the lock has opened. So, the second way to pick this lock, I'll add it now and similarly include it in this video. This method is not only effective but also quite fascinating. The lock itself is quite interesting. The lock, with its unique design, offers a challenge. In terms of quality, when considering its build, it stands out in terms of reliability. It's not bad. It's easier to pick compared to other locks. It's quite tricky. This lock is designed with a unique mechanism that makes it stand out from the rest. While it is easier to pick compared to other locks, it still offers a level of complexity that can be quite challenging. So if anyone likes these kinds of locks, you might want to seriously consider it as a viable option for purchase. This is exactly the kind of lock. It has water resistance to prevent water from getting into the lock's mechanism. Well, it opens. The pace is rather sluggish, wouldn't you agree? It's something we should definitely acknowledge and consider moving forward. I probably won't show how to open it in any other ways, as those approaches are more, well, not vandalistic, but more like impact techniques. Let's say. So, based on the fact that with this lock, when it closes, the locking element remains movable, you can use a simultaneous strike on this part and this part, for example, with two hammers, so that the lock is between the hammers, or even from one side, by pulling the shackle of the lock. You can just make light taps with a hammer, let's say. This lock can also be opened this way, considering that our channel focuses more on picking techniques rather than breaking in. We can consider this option, for example. But if someone wants to test it and check it out, they can do it themselves. For those who are interested, they have the option to explore and evaluate it on their own. As for me, I'm going to wrap up this video here. I will conclude this video at this point. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. In the not-so-distant future, we are planning to conduct a comprehensive and detailed review of another intriguing lock model that, as of now, remains unpickable by me. This upcoming review will delve into the unique features and security mechanisms of this lock, providing insights into why it currently poses such a challenge. Stay tuned for an in-depth analysis and exploration of its design and functionality, which will be shared with you soon. After I pick it, I'm definitely confident that I will pick it soon. It's just a matter of time. I'll show this lock. I'll show it. I'll post a video of a short demonstration picking this lock. Take care.